On the day of my wedding, the entire capital is waiting for me to die. According to the iron law of the Great Chu dynasty, when every person is born, a luck value mark will appear on their wrist. When my elder sister Song Yuqing was born, she had a rare positive 999 mark on her wrist. The national master declared her a once-in-a-century phoenix-style lucky star who can bring prosperity to the nation and family. When I was born, the mark on my wrist was negative 999. The national master was shocked and turned pale, pointed at me and said, "I'm a once-in-a-millennium bad luck charm. Whoever gets close to me will be plagued by misfortune and lose all their family fortune. Because of this mark, I was locked in the backyard woodshed by the Song family for 16 whole years. Until half a month ago, the powerful elder Zhao suddenly fell critically ill. The Zhao family found a fortune teller who said they must find a woman with an extremely yin and vicious fate as a tool to offset the misfortune. If Elder Zhao dies, this woman will be buried alive as a sacrifice. My father is the current Minister of Revenue of the Imperial Court. To curry favor with the Zhao family, he tied me to the wedding sedan chair without hesitation. It's the greatest blessing you, this bad luck charm, could ever get in your life to offset misfortune for Elder Zhao. If Elder Zhao passes away, you just obediently go to hell with him. Don't curse the Song family anymore." This was the last thing my father said to me, right before I got on the sedan chair. At this very moment, I'm wearing a bright red wedding dress and standing in the main hall of the Zhao family. The center of the hall isn't a wedding venue, but a pitch-black coffin. Elder Zhao is lying inside, barely breathing, with more air going out than coming in. The eldest son of the Zhao family is staring at me coldly, holding iron nails for sealing the coffin in his hand, just waiting for his father to take his last breath, to nail me inside together with him. The surrounding guests are whispering to each other, all waiting to watch this cruel joke. "The time is up. Elder Zhao has passed away. Seal the coffin." The Zhao family housekeeper shouted loudly. Several strong men immediately came forward and twisted my arms, trying to drag me into the coffin. "Stop." I broke free with a jerk, took a thick account book out of my sleeve, and held it up high. "Young Master Zhao, are you sure you want to kill me right now? You'd better take a look at what this is first." Young Master Zhao frowned. "What a bad luck charm. Still playing tricks even when you're about to die. Drag her away." I laughed out loud, opened the account book directly, and read it out loud. The 3rd year of Jingtai, the Zhao family embezzled 2 million taels of official silver from Jiangnan under the name of disaster relief. The 4th year of Jingtai, colluded with merchants from northern Mang to smuggle 800 war horses. The 5th year of Jingtai, the whole scene fell dead silent instantly. Young Master Zhao's face turned deathly pale, lunged at me trying to grab the account book. "Shut up! Where did you get this fake stuff?" I stepped back and threw the account book directly into the arms of the Minister of Dali Temple, who happened to be sitting in the first seat of the guest area, Lord Minister of Dali Temple. I found this account book in the interlayer at the bottom of the betrothal gift box that the Zhao family sent before my wedding. The Zhao family thought I would definitely die, so they didn't even check the betrothal gift box carefully, and just took a random old box. Every entry in this book has Elder Zhao's personal seal on it. According to the law of the Great Chu dynasty, embezzling official silver, smuggling war horses, are serious crimes that deserve execution of all 9 generations of the family. The Minister of Dali Temple opened the account book. His hands already started shaking. He is a stubborn, upright, and impartial official. The moment he saw Elder Zhao's personal seal, he stood up abruptly. "Guards, block the entire Zhao mansion. Not even a single fly is allowed to fly out." Young Master Zhao knelt on the ground with a thud. The whole main hall fell into chaos immediately. The female family members were crying and wailing. The guests were running around trying to escape. I glanced coldly at the old man lying in the coffin, took off the complicated red wedding dress, threw it on the ground, turned around and strode out of the gate of the Zhao mansion. Of course I know I'm the so-called negative 999 bad luck charm, but I know even better. Extreme negative turns into positive. My negative luck value gives me a unique ability. I can see at a glance all the flaws and hidden values of things. When that betrothal gift box was sent to the woodshed, I spotted the abnormality of the bottom plank at a glance, pried it open quietly, and got this fatal account book. The Song family wants me dead. The Zhao family wants me to be buried with them? In your dreams? I not only want to live, I also want to poke a huge hole in the sky of this capital. I didn't go back to the Song family because I know going back is a dead end. If my father finds out that I exposed the Zhao family, not only will he not praise me, he'll throw me under the bus to clear his name and beat me to death straight away. I traded the only gold hairpin on my head for a neat set of men's clothing. I smudged dirt all over my face and fled to the most chaotic South Market in the capital. It's a place full of all sorts of people, a gathering spot for vendors, gamblers, and homeless folks. I paused when I saw a rundown shop called Huitong Pawn Shop and stopped in my tracks. The pawn shop owner was a one-eyed old man. Everyone called him Jin the Blind. He was dozing off behind the counter. Hey, boss, are you hiring? I tapped on the counter. Jin the Blind didn't even lift his eyelids. Get lost, the shop's about to close down. I don't have money to hire any workers. I didn't leave. Instead, I glanced at the items on the pawn shop shelves. My eyes stung a little. Words suddenly popped up on all those items that only I could see. Fake blue and white porcelain. Low-quality imitation from Jingdezhen. Worth 10 copper coins. Rusty iron sword. Scrap iron mixed with lead. Totally worthless. Jet black wood carving. Covered in dust on the outside. Made of solid red sandalwood inside. Worth 500 taels of silver. I pointed at the fake blue and white porcelain priced at 2 taels of silver and said, "That vase is fake. You lost money buying it for 2 taels." Jin the Blind suddenly opened his single eye and snapped, "Bullshit, I collected that myself yesterday. The workmanship is super fine. How could it be fake?" I walked right up, picked up the vase directly, and smashed it on the floor right in front of him. "You wanna die?" Jin the Blind flew into a rage, grabbed a stick, and was about to hit me. I pointed at the fractured edge of the broken porcelain. "Feel it yourself, boss. Real blue and white porcelain has a smooth, fine body. This fractured edge is as rough as sand. The bottom even has yesterday's kiln mark on it. You got scammed." Jin the Blind was stunned. He squatted down and touched the porcelain shards. His face turned livid instantly. He really had been tricked. I struck while the iron was hot. Walked over to the jet black wood carving priced at 1 tael of silver that no one wanted. Picked it up and weighed it in my hand. But don't get upset just yet. This wood carving, if you scrape off the black paint on its surface, it's made of top-grade red sandalwood inside. Take it to Wenwan Pavilion in West Market. It'll sell for at least 500 taels. Jin the Blind took a carving knife doubtfully and carefully scraped the surface of the wood carving. A streak of purplish-red smooth wood grain appeared, with a faint, nice scent. He gasped and dropped the knife and stared at me intently. "Who are you? How do you have such a sharp eye?" "My name is Shenji. I used a fake name. I don't want a salary. I'll help you appraise all the items that come in. We split the profits 70-30. I take 70, you take 30. Jin the Blind gritted his teeth and nodded in agreement. From then on, I became the chief appraiser of Huitong Pawn Shop, with my ability to see the true nature of any item. In just 3 months, Huitong Pawn Shop became the biggest cash cow in South Market. Junk that other people misjudged. I bought at a super low price and sold it for a high profit. Treasures that other people thought were genuine. I could see through the disguise at a glance and never got ripped off. I also finally figured out what the deal is with my negative luck value. The so-called negative luck value doesn't mean I bring bad luck to people. It means I absorb fake, undeserved good luck. In this world, there are tons of people like my elder sister who rely on their random high luck value to coast through life easily. They get everything without putting in any effort. I'm the breaker of this system. I can see through all false pretenses and lies. 3 months later, I had already accumulated 50,000 taels of silver in wealth. I renamed Huitong Pawn Shop to Jiwei Trading Firm and officially entered the bulk cargo trade business. The largest merchant association in the capital is the 4 major guilds. They each monopolize the salt and iron trades. I figured if I wanted to climb higher, I had to snatch food right out of the tiger's mouth. I set my sights on the silk trade. When autumn rolled around, the Qian family, one of the 4 major guilds, was hoarding raw silk like crazy. The market price of raw silk was doubled by their crazy speculation, because rumors say that this year in the north, the harsh winter will arrive ahead of schedule. The demand for silk clothing will skyrocket. Blind Jin said to me anxiously. Boss, everyone's buying raw silk like crazy. We have so much money in our account. Should we jump on the bandwagon too? If we don't buy now, there'll be none left. I stood on the second floor of the trading firm, watching the merchants scrambling for goods on the street. Some prompts popped up in front of my eyes. Tian family's raw silk warehouse. The warehouse has got damp. Mold spots have grown inside the raw silk. All of it will rot completely in 1 month. Weather forecast? This year is a warm winter. The demand for silk will drop sharply. I let out a cold sneer, turned around and said to Blind Jin, don't buy even a single tail of raw silk. Not only are we not buying any, take all the fabric we have on hand right now. Sell all of them at a price 10% lower than the market rate. And sell them all to the Qian family. Blind Jin turned pale with shock. Boss, are you out of your mind? We'll lose money for sure if we sell now. Just do as I say, I ordered in an unquestionable tone. Under my mandatory order, Jiwei trading firm sold off all its silk inventory. The Qin family thought we couldn't hold on any longer. They mocked us wildly for being short-sighted and took all our goods without any hesitation. 1 month later, a sudden drastic change took place. The northern winter didn't arrive as scheduled. It was abnormally warm instead. Silk clothes couldn't be sold at all. Prices started to plummet like crazy. To make matters worse, 100,000 bolts of raw silk the Qian family hoarded in the west suburb warehouse. Because the warehouse was built in a low-lying area, continuous autumn rain made it get damp. All of the silk grew mold spots and became completely useless waste. Overnight, the Chen family went bankrupt. Countless creditors blocked the gate of the Chen family's residence. The head of the Chen family was driven into a corner and was preparing to hang himself. I brought Blind Jin with me, kicked open the gate of the Chen family's residence. I looked at the Chen family head hanging from the beam and told my men to take him down. I said coldly, it's easy for you to die, Master Qian. But your wife and children will have to pay your debts for you and be sold to brothels as slaves or prostitutes. Are you willing to let that happen? The Chen family head knelt on the ground and wailed loudly. What else can I do? 100,000 bolts of useless raw silk are all in my hands now. I threw a stack of silver bills to him. This is 100,000 taels of silver. I'll buy all your useless raw silk, plus the 3 big shops the Chen family owns in the capital. The Chen family head looked at me like I was a lunatic. What do you want those moldy, useless silk for? You don't need to worry about that. Sign the paper, take the money, and get lost. After I got the useless raw silk, Blind Jin was also extremely confused. I told him to go to the dye workshops in the south and buy the cheapest wood dye available. This kind of dye has a very deep color. I had my men boil all the moldy raw silk again and dye them deeply with wood dye to cover all the mold spots. At the same time, I invented a new weaving method to mix these damaged silk threads with coarse hemp and weave a fabric with special dark patterns on the surface and a tough, firm texture. I named it Dark Cloud Brocade. I opened a new shop in the busiest East Market of the capital and spent a fortune hiring several of the most famous down-and-out scholars and renowned courtesans in the capital. I had them wear clothes made of dark cloud brocade and strut around at all kinds of poetry gatherings and tea parties. I had people spread the word that this is a new fabric imported from overseas. It looks rough on the surface, but is actually low-key and luxurious. Only people with real taste are worthy of wearing it. In less than half a month, dark cloud brocade became the new favorite of the capital's noble circle. The originally worthless waste silk was sold by me at 10 times the original price. After this battle, Jiwei trading firm completely established its foothold in the capital's business circle, and I became the newly crowned god of wealth. A tree that stands taller than the rest will surely be the first to be broken by the wind. I earned way too much money, and finally caught the attention of the authorities. That late night, I was checking the accounts. The gate of the trading firm was kicked open with a bang. A team of guards with swords rushed in and surrounded me tightly. The one walking at the very end was a young man wearing a moon-white brocade robe. He had an extremely handsome face, but his eyes were filled with deep world weariness and coldness. 7th Prince Li Yuan, the most unfavored prince of the Great Chu dynasty, because his birth mother was a palace maid. He was bullied constantly ever since he was a child, but he controls the Hidden Guard Battalion. He's the emperor's vicious hound for spying on all officials. Li Yuan walked up to my desk. He picked up an account book casually and flipped through it. Shenje, or maybe I should address you as Song Zhiwei, the jinx from Minister Song's family who fled her wedding. I got a shock in my heart, but I kept a completely calm face. I didn't even try to quibble. Because lying in front of the hidden guard battalion is totally stupid. I stood up and looked him straight in the eye. Your Highness, 7th, you visit late at night. Surely you didn't come all the way just to arrest this weak runaway bride to claim a reward, right? After all, the Zhao family has already fallen from power. Li Wen let out a soft chuckle. A flicker of appreciation flashed in his eyes. Smart enough. I'm here today to raid your house. He pulled a chair over and sat down. You've monopolized the silk market. You make piles of money every single day. The Ministry of Revenue's national treasury is empty now. My father, the emperor, sent me here to get some funds. Since you're a fugitive, I can confiscate all your property. That's totally fair and reasonable. I looked at Li Yuan. My eyes grew warm again. Li Yuan, the 7th prince, seems to be deeply favored by the emperor on the surface, but is actually suppressed by the crown prince's faction. He urgently needs a huge sum of money to win over the military. To plot for the throne. Oh, so that's what this is about. He's not here to raid the house for the emperor. He's here to get money for himself. I laughed without any sign of fear. Your Highness, killing the goose that lays golden eggs is the dumbest move. If you confiscate my current assets, you'll only get 500,000 taels of silver at most. But if you keep me around, I can earn 5 million taels for you. Or even 50 million taels. Li Yuan's gaze turned sharp at once. What makes you think you can do that? I pulled out a blank sheet of paper and quickly drew a map of the Great Chu dynasty on it. Your current situation is not good, Your Highness. The Crown Prince controls all court affairs. 4 of the 6 ministries are run by his people. If you want to break the deadlock, you must have your own base of support. Money is your most powerful weapon. I pointed at the northwest corner of the map. The northwest border has been at war for years. The soldiers can't even get their military pay. If you can fund and solve the food supply problem for the Northwest Army, the 100,000 cavalry of the Northwest Army will be your backup. Li Yuan tightened his grip on his knife hilt. His eyes turned extremely dangerous. How dare you recklessly talk about the succession fight? I don't just dare to talk about it. I even dare to act on it. You provide me with official protection. I provide you with a steady stream of military funds. We work with each other overtly and covertly. Each gets what we need. What do you say? Li Yuan stared at me for a very long time. So long that I thought he would draw his knife and cut me down. Finally, he loosened his grip. A cold sneer curled up at the corner of his mouth. Song Zhiwei, everyone says you're a jinx. But I think you're a total maniac. Happy to work with you. Your Highness, starting from that day, I had the 7th Prince as my strong political backer. My business was no longer limited to the capital. Instead, it leveraged Li Yuan's hidden guard network to expand crazily across the entire country. My business grew too large. Eventually, the news got out. Half a year later, my biological father, Minister Song of the Ministry of Revenue, came to see me in person. He didn't bring people to force his way in. He walked into Zhiwei Trading House in plain clothes. He looked at me sitting in the executive chair, dressed in fancy men's clothing. His eyes were full of shock and greed. Zhiwei, you really are alive? The first thing my father said was not concern. It was an accusation. Since you're alive, why didn't you go back to the Song family? Do you have any idea how much trouble your running away from the wedding caused the Song family? I fiddled with the abacus in my hand. I didn't even lift my head. Minister Song, is there anything left for us to talk about? When you tied me up and threw me into the wedding sedan back then, I already died once. You ungrateful brat, your body, hair, and skin are all gifts from your parents. I gave you your life in the first place. Now your older sister Yu King is soon going to marry the crown prince as his crown princess. This is a great event for the Song family to glorify our ancestors, but the crown prince's wedding needs to be extremely grand. The Song family needs to provide a 1 million tael dowry. I've already checked. This Zhifei trading house is your property. Hand over the trading house's land deed and all the cash in the accounts right now as your older sister's dowry. As long as you do as I say, I'll allow you to officially rejoin the family clan. I almost laughed out loud when I heard that. Rejoin the family clan. Take away the entire business empire I worked my ass off to build, just to fork over everything to that so-called elder sister with 999 luck rating, and I'm supposed to be grateful for that. I put down my abacus, stood up and stared at my cold-blooded father. Lord Song, don't you get one thing wrong here? I'm not your daughter anymore. I'm the top imperial merchant in the capital. You want money? Sure. I pulled a document out of my drawer, threw it right in front of him. Loan agreement. 3% monthly interest. Use your Vice Minister of Revenue official residence and all farmland under your name as collateral. Sign and leave your thumbprint here. I'll give you 1 million taels of silver right away. My father was trembling with rage. He pointed at my nose and yelled curses. You ungrateful brat. I'm your damn father. You dare charge me interest? Do you believe I can submit a memorial to the emperor and shut down your shady shop? I sighed. I clapped my hands. The door to the back hall opened. Jing Wen was wearing the official court robe of a prince. He walked out slowly. Lord Song, that's some mighty official clout you've got there. Li Wen looked at my father with a half smirk. My father's legs went weak from fear. He immediately knelt down on the ground. Your Highness, 7th Prince. I did not know your Highness is here. I deserve to die for my offense. Li Wen walked to my side. He stared down at Vice Minister Song. Lord Song, Zhubei Trading House is a business I invested in. You want to shut down my shop and rob money from my people. My father was covered in cold sweat. He kowtowed repeatedly. I would never dare, your Highness. I did not know Manager Shen is under your protection. I was being stupid. Get out. Li Wen didn't bother to say anything more. My father scrambled out of the trading house as fast as he could. After he left, Li Wen turned to look at me. Aren't you afraid he'll get back at you? After all, he's worked in the Ministry of Revenue for many years. He has lots of former subordinates and old allies there. He will definitely take revenge. That's why I've prepared a huge trap for him. After my father got home, he immediately joined the Crown Prince's faction and leaked to the Crown Prince the fact that I, Song Zhiwei, I am the so-called bad luck jinx. The Crown Prince was just looking for an excuse to take down the 7th Prince. He immediately ordered the Ministry of Revenue to issue a new policy that shocked the entire nation: abolish the old version of salt certificates. Implement the new salt certificate system. The salt industry in Great Chu is government-supervised and merchant-run. For merchants to buy salt, they must first purchase salt certificates from the Ministry of Revenue. Before this policy was rolled out, I just spent 3 million taels of silver to buy up a large amount of old salt certificates. This move from the Crown Prince basically invalidated all the certificates I held, making me lose 3 million taels instantly. I was on the verge of bankruptcy. Not just that, the Ministry of Revenue also spread the word that new salt certificates will only be sold to several top imperial merchants from the Crown Prince's faction, completely cutting off my source of income. Blind Jin was so anxious that he had a sudden stress flare-up. He coughed up blood on the spot. We're done for, manager. The Crown Prince wants to get rid of all of us. We're stuck with 3 million taels worth of useless certificates. Our cash flow on the books is completely cut off. We can't even pay the goods payment due tomorrow. The entire business circle in the capital was waiting to laugh at me, waiting for Zhiwei Trading House to go bankrupt. I sat alone in the empty accounting room, staring hard at the old salt certificates on the table. My eyes were burning with urgency. I started analyzing the entire economic fundamentals of Great Chu. Great Chu's salt administration. The printing process of the new salt certificates is very complicated. It takes 3 months to fully roll them out. Folk salt reserves. The salt stored by civilians is only enough for half a month. The breakthrough point is the 3 major salt fields in Jiangnan. They have long been controlled by local salt merchants. There's a time lag for the Ministry of Revenue's order to take effect. I stood up abruptly. A crazy glint flashed in my eyes. The Crown Prince wants to play me to death. Then I'll play a big game with him. I immediately wrote a letter. I had my hidden guard send it to Li Yuan overnight. Early the next morning, I hung at the gate of Zhiwei Trading House, a huge announcement board. Unlimited purchase of old version eyeshadow palettes. We buy them back at original price. As soon as the news came out, the whole city was in an uproar. Everyone thought I had gone crazy. The old version eyeshadow palettes were obviously already worthless waste paper. Yet I'm still spending real money to buy them back. Those independent merchants hoarding old version eyeshadow palettes, who were ready to end it all over their losses, stormed into my trading firm like maniacs and traded their palettes for cold hard cash. In just 3 days, I not only used up all the cash in my firm, I even mortgaged my own mansion to buy up 90% of all old version salt certificates on the market. On the 5th day, something huge happened. There was a salt shortage among common people. The new version salt certificates were taking forever to print, and the old ones had already been declared invalid. So salt merchants didn't dare pick up salt from salt fields. In just a few days, salt prices in the capital skyrocketed 10 times. Common people couldn't get any salt at all. Public resentment was boiling over. There were even riots where people looted salt shops. The emperor was furious. He threw a massive fit in the imperial court and demanded answers from the crown prince and minister of revenue. The crown prince was sweating bullets, trying to shift blame away from himself, saying new salt certificates were still being rushed. Right at that moment, Li Yuan stepped forward. "Father Emperor, your son has a memorial to present." The Ministry of Revenue recklessly abolished old salt certificates, which caused the entire salt industry to shut down and left people with no salt to eat. This is an act that destabilizes the whole nation. In your son's opinion, to solve this urgent crisis, the only way is to immediately reinstate old salt certificates and stabilize salt prices. To calm public anger, the emperor immediately issued an imperial decree. Request approved. Old version salt certificates are valid indefinitely. No one shall stop merchants from collecting salt. As soon as the decree came out, the entire capital's business circle was shaken to its core. And at this point, 90% of the capital's old version salt certificates were all in my hands alone. I had a monopoly on the entire salt supply of Great Shu. Those imperial merchants who just sold their old salt certificates to me at rock-bottom prices a few days ago now had to kneel at the entrance of Jiwei trading firm, begging me to sell them salt certificates at 5 to 10 times the price. In this battle, I not only got back my 3 million tiles of principal, I also made a crazy profit of 15 million tiles. I turned the Crown Prince's economic blockade into a total joke, and even rose to become the Great Shu dynasty's real uncrowned god of wealth. The Crown Prince messed up badly on the salt policy, and his prestige plummeted. The emperor started giving Li Yuan important posts, so the Crown Prince panicked even more. My father knew full well I never let a grudge go. To protect himself, he decided to rush the marriage between my older sister, Song Yuqing, and the Crown Prince. Once Song Yuqing becomes the Crown Princess and the future empress of the nation, no matter how rich I am, I can't do anything to the Song family. The night before the Crown Prince's wedding, the Song family was decorated with lanterns, and Song Yuqing, my perfect older sister with the positive 999 mark on her wrist, was wearing an extremely luxurious wedding gown ready to marry. Meanwhile, escorted by Li Yuan, I surrounded the Song mansion with a team of imperial guards. I was wearing a dark black robe and kicked open the front gate of the Song mansion. My father, who was serving tea, was so scared that he dropped his teacup on the floor. "Song Jiwei, what do you think you're doing? Today is your sister, the Crown Princess's wedding day. How dare you break in with soldiers?" Song Yuqing lifted her red wedding veil, revealing a stunningly beautiful face that carried a hint of arrogance. She looked at me, her eyes full of condescending pity. "Little sister, even though you have a terrible fate, if you kneel down and apologize, I can beg His Highness the Crown Prince to spare your life." I ignored her, walked straight to the center of the courtyard, and said in a loud voice, "Master Song, I'm here today to collect a debt. Half a year ago, you mortgaged the Song family's farmland and this mansion to borrow 1 million taels from me. Today the deadline is up." My father's face changed drastically. "You're lying. I never got your money." I sneered and threw out the IOU he had personally signed and fingerprinted. It's all in black and white, with the official seal of the Ministry of Revenue on it. You can't deny this, can you? His Highness Li Yuan was there as a witness. My father really didn't get the money, because Li Yuan scared him off that day. But his signature and fingerprint are definitely real. I'm using this fabricated IOU to force the Song family into ruin. This is extortion. Extortion. Compared to what your Song family has done, this is nothing at all. I turned my head sharply and stared hard at Song Yuqing's wrist. My eyes burned like crazy, and I focused all the mental power I had accumulated on that positive 999 mark on her wrist. In an instant, the world lost all color in my eyes, leaving only the lines of truth. I saw it. I finally saw the truth of the so-called Phoenix Blessed Lucky Star. I strode forward in big steps and grabbed Song Yuqing by the wrist. She screamed and struggled wildly, but I held her down firmly. How dare you? What do you think you're doing? The Crown Prince rushed over after hearing the commotion and stormed into the yard with his Eastern Palace guards. I stared at the Crown Prince without a flicker of fear. Your Highness? You think you married a lucky star? Why don't you take a good look at what this so-called lucky star really is? I pulled a dagger out of my sleeve. Without any hesitation, I sliced Song Yuqing's wrist open with a single cut. No blood flowed out at all. Instead, a kind of pitch-black, foul-smelling liquid gushed out. That glistening solid 999 gold. Mark came into contact with the air and peeled off layer by layer like shedding skin. Finally, it revealed a blood-red, ugly spell underneath. Dead silence fell across the entire scene. I turned to look at my deathly pale father and sharply expose this earth-shattering 16-year-old secret. 16 years ago, the Song family hired an evil sorcerer from the martial world. The very moment I was born, they used the star-shifting fate-swapping spell. You siphoned off all my natural luck value and forcefully transferred it to Song Yuqing to artificially create a Phoenix Blessed Lucky Star. Because of this forced deprivation, my luck value dropped to negative. You were afraid that if I died, the spell would lose its effect. So you locked me in the woodshed like an animal for 16 years, just to be a vessel for Song Yuqing to suck luck from. I pointed at the stinking spell on Song Yuqing's wrist. Your Highness, she's no wife who brings good fortune to her husband. She's a giant blood-sucking leech. The reason she seems so lucky is that she's been draining luck from everyone around her. Why did Elder Zhao suddenly fall critically ill? Because the Song family tried to marry her to the Zhao family, and she came into contact with him. Why have you been making mistakes so often lately? Even messed up all your political proposals completely. Because she's been staying close to you? The Crown Prince drew a sharp breath and violently shook off Song Yuqing's outstretched hand. He stepped back 3 steps like he was avoiding the plague. No, this isn't real. Your Highness, please listen to my explanation. Song Yuqing broke down and cried hysterically and tried to grab the hem of the Crown Prince's robe. The Crown Prince kicked her away hard and roared at Minister Song furiously. Song Huiran, how dare you use evil sorcery to harm me? Guards, arrest every single member of the Song family. Minister Song collapsed to the ground. His face was as pale as ash. He knew the Song family was finished. I stood right where I was, watching this whole farce play out. I felt no joy of revenge in my heart, only a calm sense of relief. The Song family fell from power completely. The Crown Prince married a demonic woman and was derelict in his salt administration duties, so he was deposed by the emperor. He was placed under house arrest in the imperial clan court. The 7th Prince, Li Yuan, with the support of a group of military generals and my vast financial resources, was formally appointed as the new Crown Prince and ascended the throne as emperor the following year. On the day the new emperor took the throne, it didn't rain at all. It was a bright sunny day. I was summoned into the imperial palace. Li Yuan wore a bright yellow imperial dragon robe and sat on the high dragon throne, looking at me standing in the center of the main hall. Song Jiwei, the entire Song family has been executed. Your revenge has been fulfilled. I now offer you 2 choices. First, I will make you my empress. With your financial power and my imperial power, the entire territory of Great Chu will be ruled by you and me together. I looked at him. I knew only half of his words were sincere. Emperors fear meritorious officials the most, especially those rich enough to rival the entire state. Making me his empress was just to trap me deep in the palace and annex my business empire without spilling a drop of blood. I smiled slightly. I pulled a golden seal out of my sleeve. That was the key to the Great Chu State Treasury, and also the symbol of my financial power. I didn't walk towards the harem. Instead, I placed the seal on the tray beside me. Your Highness, I choose the second option. Li Gwen narrowed his eyes.
Oh.
I don't want to be the empress. The small square sky of the deep palace can't trap me. I want to be the Minister of Revenue of Great Chu. I want to be the chairman of the National General Chamber of Commerce I know what your majesty is worried about. I will hand over 60% of the profits from my weapon workshops and salt factories to the national treasury. But the economic lifeline of Great Chu must be under my overall control. Wool from northern Mang, silk from Jiangnan, spices from the western regions. Your majesty, just focus on expanding the territory. I, your subject, will earn all the money you need to conquer the world. You could hear a pin drop in the main hall. Since ancient times, no woman has ever served as a minister of the 6 ministries, let alone the Ministry of Revenue that controls all national funds and grain. Li Wen stared at me for a long time. He saw the ambition in my eyes. It was a purer, grander desire than becoming the empress. Ha 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 ha! What an amazing Song Jue! You're indeed the person I've set my sights on. Issue the edict, appoint Song Jue as Minister of Revenue, grant her the additional title of first-rank Grand Secretary of Taihe Hall. Abolish the Great Chu Luck Mark Law effective immediately. Anyone who talks nonsense about fate based on birth charts will be beheaded immediately. I knelt down and kowtowed. I, your subject. Thank you for your immense grace, your majesty. When I walked out of the palace gates, sunlight spilled all over my body. I rolled up my sleeves. The mark on my wrist that had shackled me for 16 years, the 999 mark everyone regarded as a curse, had vanished completely at some point. There's no such thing as a predestined jinx, nor is there such a thing as a born lucky star. The ledger of life is never recorded based on blessings from heaven. My name is Song Jue. I was once stared down by the abyss, but I turned around and bought the entire abyss, then sold it at a sky-high price.